Hi friends, welcome to Cricket Caviar. I'm your host Pratik Gautam. Guys, I challenge you, you will not be able to find a better video explaining the World Chess Championship current scenario and the predictions. So continue to watch this video, listen very carefully and subscribe to Cricket Caviar if you haven't subscribed. So guys, ICC has finally cracked the code. People are still finding flaws in the World Test Championship, like why the finals is always in England, why some team matches plays less matches, some play more matches, why away and home wins are rated the same. But regardless of all those flaws, ICC has finally done it. In the third cycle of the World Test Championship, they have cracked the code. Now everyone is glued to the World Test Championship because they don't know what will happen, which team will qualify for the finals. But guys, I'm going to tell you a very big disclosure today. I'm going to make a very big prediction today. And after watching this video, you will agree with me. South Africa is going to play the World Test Championship finals in 2025. Mark my words, guys. South Africa is going to be the one team. I don't know who the second team will be, but after you go through my presentation now, you will be able to agree with me that South Africa is going to make it. So let me show you the scenarios. So guys, as you can see my screen, uh, this is the current scenario. ICC posted this today, and they are saying that these five teams, as we all know, for mathematical purposes, are still in the race to the finals. So we have South Africa, Australia, India, Sri Lanka, and New Zealand. I think personally that South Africa, India, and Australia are more favorites than the other two. So we will talk more about those two, but we will also discuss Sri Lanka and New Zealand. So what ICC has given in this, you can see they have shown that what is the current percentage. So you can see India and Australia are leading, Sri Lanka at number 3 with 55, New Zealand 50, South Africa 47. Even though South Africa is at the bottom, guys, I'm going to prove why South Africa is playing that final. And then they have shown the maximum PCT. So you can see New Zealand doesn't have much room to grow. They can only go at max 64 shows. They have to win more matches, almost everything. And but for India and Australia, there is still like they can achieve a lot, but it will be hard because they're going to play against each other, as we all know in the upcoming BGT. So this is the scenario. And now for the test remaining, we will do some visualization to show you how many matches are remaining that affect the scenarios for these teams. But before I do that, guys, are you ready for some cool mathematics here? Let again to prove my point, another point, which is that why is this the best cycle? We have to look at this visualization. This is a scatter plot. So guys, if you don't understand high level mathematics, don't worry about it because I'm going to explain. I'm a data analyst by profession and I do cricket for the passion. This is all the PCT points across the three World Test Championship cycles, guys. Okay, follow me here. In the graph, we're showing these dots for different teams. So India ke ye teen dots hai. This is for England, this is for New Zealand, this is for Australia, and so on. Blue is showing the first cycle. So remember, color blue is showing the first cycle, green is showing the current cycle, and yellow is the last cycle. So we have three cycles. India played finals in both. New Zealand won the first cycle, Australia won the second cycle, and third cycle, we don't know who is going to play the finals, but we will solve that mystery today. So, guys, what happened in the first cycle is some teams played exceptionally well, some teams played poorly. So the gap between the teams was very high in the first cycle. As you can see from this graph, there are many blue lines at the top and there are many blue lines at the bottom. There are very few blue lines here. That means the difference between the teams was a lot in the first cycle. Also, because of that, India qualified with 72 PCT points and New Zealand with 70. The two teams who played the finals scored high points, right? And if we calculate the variation between the different teams, the standard deviation comes out to be 22. Now, what happened in the next two cycles is very similar. World Test Championship cycle number 2, as you can see, India qualified again to the finals, but just look at the PCT difference now. It's not 72 anymore. It's only 58.8. India qualified by 58.8 points because other teams screwed up and Australia entered the finals with 67 PCT points. So what is this showing? This data is showing that what ICC and some other websites are saying that, teams need to do 65 points, 67 points. That is bullshit. You don't need that many points because team do screw up. So remember, guys, India reached the finals with 58.8 PCT in the next cycle, and we will revisit this again. Now, as you can see, there are many dots of green and yellow in this middle phase. Why? Because the World Test Championship cycle has become very competitive. Teams are beating each other square, and everything is getting messed up, and everything is very competitive, and fans are loving it. So this is why the variation between the teams reduced in this cycle, and that's why ICC is becoming successful. Because in the last cycle, we saw Bangladesh winning a test match in New Zealand and drawing the series. This cycle, everything is chaos. Bangladesh beating Pakistan in Pakistan, Pakistan beating Sri Lanka in Sri Lanka, Sri Lanka beating Bangladesh in Bangladesh, India losing to New Zealand, and then Australia tying with West Indies. So everything is chaotic, guys, now. And that's why this cycle is more competitive. And we might see a finalist with even less than 58.8 PCT because this is the closest it has ever been. Let's look at the numbers again. I told you the standard deviation between teams in the first cycle was 22. In the second cycle, the standard deviation was 15. In the third cycle, it's just 14. It has even reduced until now. Like the cycle is not finished yet. While the averages has been very much similar, the average point PCT in the first cycle was 47, in the next two cycle 45. Why it reduced a little bit? Because ICC is also giving more penalty points. So that's why I don't think we'll see a team with 72 PCT again. That's just happened in the first cycle. So sorry guys, this is if it is too much mathematics. Now let's discuss the fun scenarios. But I just wanted to give you a math and tell you that don't worry if India don't win 4 or 5 test matches from here. Don't worry if your team Sri Lanka doesn't win all 4 matches from here. It will not be needed, guys, because this shows that the cycle is very competitive and the team reaching the finals might reach with less than 60 points. Now let's review the important series that will decide who will the winner will. So let's come to current series now. What is happening right now? We are waiting for the third test match between India and New Zealand in Mumbai. So let's go to India and we are waiting for this test match. So guys, this is very important test match for India, especially because they're going to play BGT in Australia. So I think they have to win this test match. And for New Zealand chances too, yes, they have to probably win all of the matches and this test match will be very important for them. Now let's move to India's neighbor Bangladesh. South Africa are playing a series here. They've already won the first test match and they are massively ahead in the second test match. They just played 1 day of play and they made 307 runs with the only loss of 2 wickets. That means they are massively favorite to win this test match. Guys, we can assume that they won this test match and they will win 2-0 in Bangladesh. And this is one of the reasons why I'm saying South Africa might be favorites to reach the finals. Let's actually go to South Africa where more home series is going to happen. So let's go to South Africa. So guys, South Africa is also going to host Sri Lanka and Pakistan in December and January. So very soon we will be seeing that South Africa will play all of their matches and they might already qualify, guys, because let's assume South Africa will win the Bangladesh match. And now they have 4 test matches left. 4 test matches at home against Asian sides. Asian sides generally struggle in South Africa. Guys, if South Africa even win 3 matches, they will finish with the PCT higher than 60. And that is why I'm saying that South Africa already has 1 foot in the door to that World Test Championship finals at Lords. I think everyone will agree with me that South Africa will at least beat Sri Lanka or Pakistan in 3 of those matches out of 4. Now let's move on to other teams. So this is my first team, South Africa. I think they're reaching the finals. Now let's talk about India and Australia. So I just said that India needs to win this very important test match against New Zealand. What's next for them? Well, they're going to Australia to play a very difficult series, Border Gavaskar Trophy, 5 test matches. It is going to be long and excruciating. And I don't know why, guys, India said yes to play a day-night test match in Adelaide. Now, this is going to be very difficult for India because this is going to hamper their chances. Playing a pink ball test in Adelaide, we all know Australia never loses a pink ball test. So this is going to be a huge challenge for India. And I don't know if they're ready for this, especially without Shami. I don't think so. So I think India is going to lose the test match. Now, if India play really well, they will still have 4 test matches in Australia and they must win 2 of them. So other news sources might be telling you India need to win 5 of 6 or 4 of 6. I disagree with that, guys. I will run a scenario where India beats New Zealand, and if India win two test matches, they lose the BGT 3-2, just win two test matches and see, guys, what happens. I will come back to that. So if India wins three test matches, guys, they will end up with the PCT of 58.8, exactly their PCT in the last cycle, exactly when they qualified to the finals for the last time. But hang on, we cannot be sure that 59 PCT will be enough to qualify. That's why I'm going to discuss some other teams as well. What's in there for Australia? Well, Australia is like hungry lions. They want to win this series. So we are assuming 3-2 right now because uh, they're preparing a lot. They are going to, they're selecting openers. Steve Smith is going to back at 4. They will have all of their pacers playing because India and Australia matches have gaps of 7 days, 9 days. Why? Because they want their three premium pacers to play all the match. So Australia is massively favorite. India plays very well in Australia, so we can't say Australia will win 5-0. We can assume 3-2 or 4-1, something along those lines. But Australia's job doesn't end there. After here, they will go to Sri Lanka, and this is the last series in this cycle. And there will be Vaughan Mullidharan Trophy in Sri Lanka, where Australia will play two test match against Sri Lanka. So, guys, Sri Lanka has a very big favor to do for India. If India can win two test matches in Australia, like they lose the series 3-2. But if Sri Lanka whitewashes Australia, which they can because they've just whitewashed New Zealand, and so if Sri Lanka does that favor for India, then Australia PCT will be just slightly lower than India, and India will make that final with the South Africa. But if Australia wins 4 matches out of the 6 matches, which they can easily do, they will reach the World Test Championship finals. And I think, guys, at this moment, Australia has a better odds than India. So South Africa versus Australia final is likely. Now let's talk about the two remaining teams. New Zealand, they again, everyone is saying they need to win 4-4. But guys, if New Zealand win 3 out of 4, they will have really good chances. And that's realistic. Like winning 4-4 is unrealistic. 3 is also going to be very, very tough. But I'm just saying if they win 3, they have a good chance. Coming back to Sri Lanka, they have 4 test matches, 2 in South Africa, like we already discussed. Very difficult series. They have won once there, 2-0. So if Sri Lanka can win 1 test match there and whitewash Australia here, then they have a very good chance. They will have a PCT of 62. So let me quickly recap, guys. Like in the ideal case, like in the average case, what I just said. So if South Africa wins 4 out of the 5 matches, which they are likely to do so, they have a PCT of 61. 60 plus is actually a very good scenario. So we are assuming that they will more likely reach the finals. In Australia wins only three. That means we are assuming they will get whitewashed in Sri Lanka. Then they end up with the 58.3 points. And India wins 3, they have 58.8. So India will qualify, guys. I'm sorry, there's a typo, but this is 58.8 for India. But if Sri Lanka wins 3, like they whitewash Australia, and they win 1 match in South Africa, then they reach 62 points. So then they will go ahead of everyone else, and they might also play the finals with South Africa. And if South Africa messes up more, then India and Sri Lanka might play the finals. So there are many scenarios still open, and with each series, it will start getting clear for us. And lastly, if New Zealand wins 3, then they only reach 57 points, and that's why we are saying that New Zealand probably need 4 matches or 3 wins and 1 draw will make them at 58, and they will be relying on other results. So if anyone tells you that one team needs to win all of the matches from here, then that's not true. I have just shown you a scenario where if South Africa wins 4 out of 5, they are definitely walking into the finals. Australia win 3, very less chance. If they win 4 or more, they're definitely getting in as the number 1 team in the finals. India win 3 out of 6, half of their matches. They still have very good odds of qualifying because they might be still higher than Australia, assuming that Sri Lanka will help India. And if Sri Lanka wins 3, they are going through for sure. And if New Zealand win 3 and draw 1, then they can also fancy their chances. So that is all from my end, guys. Again, to recap, this is the most excellent World Test Championship cycle that we have ever seen. South Africa has 1 foot in the door because they have played exceedingly well in the Bangladesh tour. And guys, the South Africa Bangladesh tour was actually going to happen next year, but they preponed their series. They worked with the Bangladesh board, and what a fabulous decision! What a fabulous decision! We all make fun of Temba Bavuma, but he might be a legend captain if he reaches the final. Australia and India have a lot of work to do because they have a big series coming. That's why I'm not saying. That's why I'm rating them under South Africa. And then Sri Lanka and New Zealand have very tough things to do. New Zealand has probably have to win all the matches, and then Sri Lanka has to win against big teams, South Africa at their home and Australia at Sri Lanka. So both will be challenging. That's why I'm rating their chances slightly lower than India and Australia. But guys, let me know if you agree with me and with my analysis. If not, then please comment and tell me your two teams that will reach the World Test Championship finals, or if you think South Africa is not favorites to reach the World Test Championship finals. But that's all from here. प्लीज यार क्रिकेट कैवियर को सब्सक्राइब कीजिए, आपको बहुत ऐसे एंटरटेनिंग कंटेंट बताते रहेंगे। और अगर कुछ टेक्निकल क्वेश्चन है आपका तो वो भी मैं जरूर बताऊंगा कि प्रेजेंटेशन मैंने क्रिएट करी कैसे करी। तो थैंक यू गाइस एंड प्लीज लाइक सब्सक्राइब।